Hello and welcome to round two of the Curator's Cube Peasant Draft Tournament. And even though it's only round two of four, we may already be facing the final boss. Our opponent for today is Lee, my nemesis, and in addition to having proven themselves a very strong player over the past few tournaments, they have a very strong deck, white-blue, lots of creatures, very good defense, with a strong blink package centered around redeploy and the excellent blinkers of Griffin Patrol and even where is it? Recursive Cogitator. Oh, Lee's. You didn't any college watching? You didn't see Lee post anything in chat? By the way, I may have referred to my opponent, my nemesis here, as Lee before, but their username is actually pronounced Lee, like the Sun Tzu, founder of the later Tang Dynasty, and much like the Emperor of Tang, Li is a capable leader and great ally, but fearsome on the field of battle. And I have, in fact, fallen to Li many times before, and I'm hoping. I think my deck is on average stronger, although Lee may have a strong matchup here. Lee has just gotten home. Is going to look at my deck list. I'll go over Lee's deck list. Have Firewood, some common cards in my deck, raw power in the form of Firewood Feller and Event Horizon, and even Let Them Eat Cake, which I don't have. Auroric Banisher as removal in the creature base. Courtless Spirit Caller is going to be a tough blocker to deal with. Dormant Monstrosity and Seafloor Treasures, and where is it? Sludgegill Fox and Yokins in general as card draw. Eager Hatchling as an early threat. Griffin Patrol, a very dangerous blink card. I'm gonna have trouble getting around. Oracle of Zakros can scam me with redeploy and just be a great 5-drop. Propagandist is a great target to blink. A little light on blue permanents, but should be able to blink this most of the time for 2 tokens. Cannerai Banisher. My Cannerai Banisher annoyingly has very few targets against them, whereas their Cannerai Banisher has many targets against me. Wandering Hedge Mage is a card draw engine with redeploy and a strong card in its own right. And then Woman with a Story gives their deck its name and will be a strong tempo play in this matchup. And Lee has in fact rolled a 20 and will be taking the play. Well, I certainly couldn't ask for a much better hand than this. Turn 1 Braveling Hero, turn 2 Talented Blacksmith, turn 3 Crowd Cleaver, turn 4 Hardstone plus Equip. Even on the draw, this is an amazing hand, and I'll be glad to keep. Once my opponent has told me whether they're keeping. Keep 7. Okay. Let's see if we can break our losing streak against Lee. Plains, and no Eager Hatchling. That's a great start. Crumbling Tower. Interesting. I wouldn't mind drawing another land in the next few turns for Crumbling Tower and Force Land for Hardstone. So I'll just Plains Bravewing Hero and ship the turn. It's going to be possibly a real choice of whether to Talented Blacksmith onto itself or onto Bravewing Hero here. And I think it seems likely to be the hero. Untap and draw. Finding a Plains. Okay, at this point I would not... I have to play Mountain, so I can play Talented Blacksmith here, so it's going to be Primal Fissure next turn. Luckily, I have no other fast lands, so there is no risk of getting punished here. So it's just Mountain, Talented Blacksmith, which causes this to dare 2, and me to get a... One moment. A Glyph token. I can then attack for 2. Courtless Spirit Caller is certainly a very good defensive creature and good to blink as well. I'm hoping my Talented Blacksmith will have reasonable attacks on next turn. Yokins in general, the card I really do want to have removal for. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stop this Spirit token from getting in. Oh, right. No, this makes sense. Exalted and going to get to draw a card here. I could trade Talented Blacksmith for this, but this would not stop the threat of Yokins in general and would significantly slow down my aggression. So I'm going to take my 2 here. I certainly must be the beatdown in this matchup. Yokins in general card I would really like to find removal for, but failing that... Ooh, intriguing. I could drift off this Jokins in general. This slows down my aggression somewhat. It's not Crumbling Tower, for sure. It's either Crowd Cleaver or Drift Off here. This is actually a very tough choice. Drift Off is it's not a clean answer to Jokins in general. They already drew a card off this. I have 4 lands, so Multitude and Drift Off is a reasonable thing to have in my future. Crowd Cleaver is the more aggressive line, allowing them to draw an additional card off Jokins in general, but setting up for a better attack on the following turn. Crowd Cleaver is ineffective if they have a removal spell, which they are quite likely to have at this point, with the expensive room spells of Cannerai Banisher, Auroric Banisher, Event Horizon, and Let Them Eat Cake all being able to hit it. Drift Off, meanwhile, I believe they can't hit at all. Auroric Banisher only hits creatures or planeswalkers, as does Cannerai Banisher. Event Horizon can. Event Horizon could kill Drift Off, which would be unfortunate. And it's certainly a card they could have. Crowd Cleaver also gets me in for an additional 1 damage this turn because of the counter on Bravewing Hero. This is probably the game-deciding play, so I should think clearly here. Have a plan. Even with the Crowd Cleaver, I'm probably going into Hardstone on the following turn for the equip and maximum aggression. If I go with Drift Off, I might be going into Crumbling Tower on the following turn for a more value-oriented approach. While in general the aggro approach is stronger, with both of these cards in hand, I might be able to outvalue my opponent. Drift Off also does not have a ton of better targets. I'd love to hit stuff like Griffin Patrol, maybe. Yeah, they don't have many permanents that are bigger than bigger than Jokins in general. So I'm probably not getting a better value for this Drift Off unless I save it until Multitude. I actually do not know what the play is here. Okay, people play Crowd Cleaver and they go Removal Spell. I feel really bad. And it seems quite likely they have it. Yeah, I think it's Drift Off here. This might be me being too passive, but I think this is the play. It's not a good outcome for me, but I think it's strong in this situation. I'm going to attack with both. Blacksmith's going to put a counter on Bravewing Hero. And I'm going to scry 1. And Darley's Harrowers is on top. I think that's good enough to keep. It can deal with blockers that might get in the way of my Bravewing Hero. It'll set me up for eventually. Yeah. Next turn I'm probably playing Crumbling Tower plus land or Hearthstone plus land. And the following turn I'd love to play a 3-drop plus a 2-drop. And my 3-drops are not white heavy, so I can do this. Leave this here. End turn. Worst case scenario is they have Event Horizon here. But Event Horizon is going to get one of my 3-drops no matter what. With 6 cards in hand, it's certainly not unlikely. Firewood Feller. Equip to Corthless Spirit Caller. I take my 3. Are they going to equip it to the Spirit for defense? They are. I don't mind this that much. Okay, let me take that turn. They had 4 mana available, and their best play was Firewood Feller, equip. Cards they do not have. Glyph of Protection, they would have played. They have 1 mana spare. Leave up Auroric Banisher, probably better. Dormant Monstrosity, certainly better than the second equip. Don't have Eager Hatchling. Could have Griffin Patrol, that's cost 5. Probably don't have Male Demon. Could have Oracle of Zakros. No blue permanents could easily not have Prismatic Propaganda. Could have Cannerai Banisher. It has no targets. Probably would have played Whirring Sky Gizmo. Would have played Event Horizon. Would have played Seafloor Treasures. Planned Obsolescence. Could Planned Obsolescence Braving Hero probably doesn't have it. So, lands, quite likely to be lands in hand. Also quite likely to be 5-drops and situational 4-drops in hand, especially Cannerai Banisher. I draw the Indarlia's Heroes I know about, and I'm seriously considered Hardstone attached to Bravewing Hero here over Crumbling Tower. That gets me in for a solid 5, and I'm willing to attack with Blacksmith 2, trade it for the Spirit if I must. Other option, take the foot off the gas and play Crumbling Tower. Hearthstone is kind of like Crumbling Tower in that it gets value over time, and playing it now when my opponent doesn't have instant speed removal for the guaranteed hit is very nice. They don't have any 1-mana blue instants in their deck. In fact, they only have 3 instants of any kind, plus a 3-mana flash creature. Planes. Attach here. Am I willing to trade Blacksmith for Spirit? Spirit is their only flying blocker. And it's not like Talented Blacksmith does anything, it's just a 2-2. It could get through more easily when Darley's Hero was later. I attack with just Braving Hero. It's quite likely this falls to a Cannerai Banisher next turn. Ooh, I just realized that with no land in hand, Crumbling Tower has gotten significantly worse. Only another land to make that better. Although I can always just play a 3-drop or a 2-drop on the following turn. They're considering the chump block here. I would certainly accept that. The land also means I don't have further equipped for Hearthstone. Both of my landfall cards. Okay, they take the 5, going to 9. I don't have much burn in my deck, just Coordinated Shot and Ferocious Flame. Certainly they're concerned about Ferocious Flame here. I'm expecting to see possibly Cannerai Banisher or one of the 5-drops. Given their weak play last turn. But I think quite likely didn't have Auroric Banisher or Event Horizon or Let Them Eat Cake on the last turn. So it has to be specifically Cannerai, or a top deck, of course. Or it could be misreading their plays. My best draw for next turn is probably just Plains. It's an interesting situation. Between Hardstone, Drift Off, Crowd Cleaver, Crumbling Tower, and Darley's Heroes are all cards that get repeated value the longer they remain in play. So the decision of which one to deploy first is interesting. There is the old Hearthstone wisdom to deploy your slow cards first, so that would be Crowd Cleaver in this case as a slow card. That could certainly be the case here. I would certainly believe that Crowd Cleaver might have been the correct play on the Drift Off turn. But there's also the wisdom to use your equip abilities while your opponent is tapped out. 4 mana? Cannerai Banisher? I knew it. That is exiled forever. But next land will get me Hardstone equip, which is good. And they didn't have something to do with 1 blue mana last turn, so they're probably not going to have it now. Oh, they're considering equipping Firewood Feller to something, and they do. Probably could equip to either. Either gives them the option of double block Talented Blacksmith with a Hardstone on it. Courtless Spirit Caller. Okay, show me land. Land. Ragtag. Okay, I have the option of Ragtag plus Harrowers here. Spends my mana most efficiently. Don't have a lot of white creatures coming, unfortunately. But I can tap down the Banisher and get in for 1, maybe? Not exact. Really do need to find that land at some point. But if I'm not drawing lands, I'm drawing spells, which is also good. Gotta spend my mana for sure. Harrowers, tap Cannerai Banisher. Ragtag Squad. This is a jellyfish. I think in this situation, I'm looking for Dryad. I think I attack just with the Dryad. They take 1, going to 8. This jellyfish token is quite valuable because it has trample, and if I ever get Hardstone onto it, it'll be a much more serious threat. My opponent casts Behold Bizarre Sublimity, so they certainly have the card advantage on me. Although they've got 2 for 1 off of Cannerai Banisher, another 2 for 1 off of Behold Bizarre Sublimity, another 2 for 1 off Yokins in general. Although Crumbling Tower could certainly pull me back in card advantage wise, and they seem to have drawn quite a few lands. I suspect they have still not missed a land drop, and I suspect they might have more lands in hand. If I draw a land, it's probably Crumbling Tower land. As much as I'd love to get this Crowd Cleaver in play. It wouldn't have been great with these 3-1 blockers running around. If I don't draw a land, I'm going to draw a castable spell, because every card in my deck costs 4 or less. Just checking some things. Okay. Opponent has 3 mana and is thinking about something. Possibly just attacks. Could equip Firewood Feller to Spirit, hit me for 3. With Firewood Feller and Spirit token, I am certainly not safe and do need to end this game in a reasonable time frame. My opponent has not drawn Event Horizon, which I am grateful for. One white mana. With 4 mana on board, that could be Planned Obsolescence. Artifact, creature, or planeswalker could heal Hardstone but not drift off. After land, my best draw is probably Electes, as it often is. This could be... Well, Heroic Banisher and Redeploy don't really change how I want to play this, I don't think. First question, do I trade Jellyfish token for Courtless Spirit Caller? It gives up on my trample creature, but I think it's less important than preserving my life total here. Second question, do I trade Talented Blacksmith for Cannerai Banisher? I think I do. It's not a good target for them to blink right now, with no creature with nothing good for it to exile. And it turns on their Planned Obsolescence. And I have Crumbling Tower in hand. Okay. What do they have? Here's a Rorik Banisher. Costs 3. Thank you. Okay. Show me land. Show me land. Ferocious Flame. Well, that would be quite good once I... Actually, this might be hard. Is this hard equip Hearthstone? Hard equip Hearthstone gives me Ferocious Flame up, which can kill a Rorik Banisher. That's useful, but it doesn't get me in for that much damage right now. I want to run out Crowd Cleaver instead, leaving me open to Ferocious Flame on a later turn with 2 4-power creatures, so it's harder to disrupt. This Rorik Banisher I can probably kill, with Ferocious Flame or otherwise. Getting back on Darley's Harrow for another tap trigger at a crucial moment. Another reason not to do it on that turn. It only gets me. It doesn't. The Undarley's Harrow tap trigger doesn't do anything if I Ferocious Flame that turn. What I'm hoping for is my opponent overextends slightly, give me a chance to equip Hearthstone to Ragtag or Crowd Cleaver, then Ferocious Flame Banisher, get back Harrow's tap blocker, get in for, 8 damage. Unlikely given they have 4 cards in hand. Best draw, still Mountain. Luckily, Planned Obsolescence is now pretty much dead. It can only hit Ragtag, because they have no 4 mana play. Glyph of Protection, draws them a card. Could gain them up to 2 life over the course of the next few turns. Yeah, that's quite good. They're flooded out, so they need the draw and the scry, certainly. Oh, I don't have the Revolution Glyph. There it is. As always against Lee, this is a tight matchup. With Firewood Feller, they do have options. But with Crowd Cleaver, Hardstone, and Ferocious Flame, I have the potential for a lot of damage kind of out of nowhere. And they don't have a ton of instants. Auroric Banisher, they haven't smelt like they have Event Horizon, although they could have just drawn it. Glyph of Protection was clearly their draw for the turn. Event Horizon is probably going to get me if they draw it. It'll get them if I draw it. They hit another land, good for me to see. Oh, they coalesce Behold Bizarre Sublimity, making a 2/2 flyer and drawing 2 cards. Well, they're certainly up on cards against me. But if they get greedy and attack with this spirit, which I think is a completely reasonable thing for them to do, they die. Yep. They're tapped out. They can't gain life on Glyph of Protection. And I can pay 3 mana to equip this to either of my creatures, Ferocious Flame Auroric Banisher, get back Harrow's tap Behold Bizarre Sublimity. Oh. Come on, no, attack with it. Attack with it. Attack with it. You know you wanna. Come on. You're at 8. You're fine. Attack with it. What could one little creature do? Yeah. By the way, Ferocious Flame on Auroric Banisher removes 5 toughness, which is slightly more damage than it does by just Ferocious Flame their face. Attack with it. Attack with it. Opponent wisely does not attack with it. They could still be dead to the right draw. Is Bringer the right draw? I don't think it is. This is good old equip Hardstone Ferocious Flame Heroic Banisher. Here's the question: what do I equip it to? If I equip to Crowd, if I equip to Ragtag, they have to chump block Ragtag. I get both creatures on board, and they go to 4, and I get Crowd Cleaver token or counter rather. If I equip to Crowd Cleaver, they have to trade with Ragtag, but they take 7, going to 1, putting them. Although they can gain 2 life back with Glyph of Protection, they would need an answer to Crowd Cleaver, which they did not appear to have on the previous turn. And at this point, with Heroic Banisher down and Cannerai, it's just Let Them Eat Cake or Event Horizon. Planned Obsolescence doesn't do it. That has mana value 3. But I'd rather have them at 1 with a Hardstone on Crowd Cleaver and a Ragtag, but no Ragtag, or I'd rather have a Rag. Would they let them have 3 more life so I can have a Ragtag with a Hardstone on it? How much am I willing to bet? They can scry twice in their upkeep, looking for Event Horizon or Let Them Eat Cake. If I have 4/4 Crowd Cleaver and 4/4 Ragtag, it's not. Neither of them are lethal because they can gain 2 off Glyph of Protection. Having a lethal trample threat in play is, I think, more important here. Because if I put Ragtag, they go to 4, and then I have 5/4 Crowd Cleaver, 4/4 Ragtag after the counter. Crowd Cleaver could still not be lethal after Bizarre attacks and they gain 2 life. I could also just not attack with Ragtag, but I do want to force the trade, I think. The flyer is annoying with Fired Feller in play. I could also have forced him to chump with some Bizarre Behold. Oh, why did I say GG's? They're not dead, they go to 1. So they scoop right now, I'm fine with that too. Okay, opponent thinks it's enough. I do have some good cards in hand. They need removal for Crowd Cleaver, not a blocker, because I have Bringer. And they just scoop! Whew! Haven't taken a game off Lee in a long time. I want Firebolt. Firebolt hits some very important cards in their deck, including, not that one, but Eager Hatchling, Recursive Cogitator, Sludgegill Fox, potentially Wandering Hedge Maze, and especially Yonkins in general. Meanwhile, I do not need Dawnward Minister. That's just not how this is going to play out. Okay, that was on the draw. A very good draw. Certainly could have played that a lot of different ways. Really got to see the power of Hardstone. Even just paying 3 to equip. Having the first free equip puts them on the back foot. Talented Blacksmith also put in the work. With their removal being, a lot of the removal being exile based, I do not want Emberforge Forerunner, definitely. And Dated Mechanized seems unlikely to have a Hex. Well, this hand has Braving Hero into Talented Blacksmith again, with a removal spell to follow it up. Looks good to me. I'm sure I'll draw more things to do later in the game. Eager Hatchling. I can Braving Hero, and then that can eat a coordinated shot on turn 2, so I'm not that threatened by it. Archon of Glorious Light. Because of that, I'm not going to crack Primal Fissure because I would like to draw planes. I'm going to crack it on turn 3. Braving Hero. I'm not playing Blacksmith on 2, instead I'm playing Coordinated Shot. I'm also not blocking this, because the 1-2. I could technically play Talented Blacksmith and then do Coordinated Shot on the following turn? Actually, that might be better. Like, they have no protection spells. They can blink it, but that obviously doesn't very good with an experienced creature. And I have Advance of the Quiet Moon as an alternate turn 3 play. Can they put counters on it? Can they put an additional counter on it somehow? Yeah, they could play Yokins in general next turn. That would make me regret playing Coordinated Shot. But in all other circumstances, I'd rather have played Blacksmith this turn. Dare 2. Attack. Let myself get hit by 2/3 Eager Hatchling. But I think that's safe. They can't put a counter on it. And if it somehow gets out of control, I have Advance of the Quiet Moon. I can just take my lumps. Take 2. And they didn't have a turn 2 play, although obviously they played a 1/1 card that's going to trade for my 2-drop. Land, leaving up, Event Horizon, redeploy, Seafloor Treasures. Hoping it's Seafloor Treasures. Redeploy has no useful targets. They could save their creature. I would not enormously care. Event Horizon, count as 3, could kill anything. That's fine. Could also be Auroric Banisher. But that's not a good blocker here, so I don't have to live in fear of it. Thriving Moor. And kind of a punishment for not playing Primal Fissure on turn 1 here. I would love to play a tap land this turn, but it says it's going to be Sparring Partner. Next turn's Thriving Moor advanced. Turn after that Archon. Still not a bad draw. Crack Primal Fissure first, so I can take advantage of the scry. Cast Coordinated Shot to see what's happening. Good. Clean solution here. Gives them a chance to do something pre-combat if they would like to stop me from using Talented Blacksmith trigger. Same play as last time. Okay, there's nothing they can do to stop me from doing this, actually, because it's a reflexive trigger. View my top 1 cards. Planes. No, I don't want planes. I'm going to have triple white eventually. Play Sparring Partner. Next turn I have Advance of the Quiet Moon, and I could even defeat it, probably. They did not play anything on their turn 3. That's huge. Prismatic Propagandist make 1 token. I don't even really want to Advance the Quiet Moon it, but I think I'm going to. Just for tempo. I will probably defeat Advance the Quiet Moon. It's going to be a significant advantage, at least 3 tokens over the course of the game. They're at 14. It's the right time. Get the 2/2 out of the way. Sure. Everything attacks advance. There's no reason for them to block. Thriving Moor. White-black land. I have available Coordinated Shot if I seriously need removal this turn. Otherwise, Archon. They have a land. I presume they have expensive cards in hand because they didn't have 3-drops. The fact that Braving Hero is going to be a 3/3 flyer on my turn and a 2/2 flyer on their turn is actually good for me because it means it is not going to get hit by Kenrai Banisher, which in fact has no targets right now. It's possible I should have signed it out. Griffin Patrol. Wow, glad I exiled Prismatic Propagandist. Up to 1, so they don't have to target anything. Persist is quite annoying here. No doubts about it. Ooh. Wow. It's kind of better than Archon here. Taps down this, gets in for what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, puts them to 8. The question is, do I could do that next... No, if I do it this turn, I get to do it again next turn with Archon. Yeah, it's just the better play here. Wastes mana, but it presents damage. He kind of gets value over time. Puts them to 8. Play Cumulus. Wait, no, actually, don't. Wait, take that back. Don't play. I should learn my lesson. Do not play land number 5 in this deck. You have 2 landfall cards. Okay, well, Archon of Glorious Light means I can remove 1 blocker minimum. Coordinated Shot means they're at effective 5, with very little ways to gain life in their deck. Mostly just the glyph, I believe. Warring Sky Gizmo. They can. Wow, I'm so glad I exiled the Propagandist. Yeah, just denying them something good to blink really turns off both of these synergy pieces. They get to block 2 creatures, take 3. What is this? Firewood Feller, okay. Makes sense. To be fair, I don't have amazing attacks here. Although I do have good ones. Okay. You do play like backup lands in this deck. This is Archon. Harrowers taps down Griffin Patrol, and I can get in with 3/3 Braveling Hero. I could also get in with Sparring Partner, because when it dies, I get 2 1/1s. While I'm doing that, I could also attack with both of these. I could trade Undarli's Harrows for 2 damage to their face. No, they would block at this point. Blacksmith Harrowers gets let Sparring Partner through. They'd only take 4. 4 is not what I want. I need 5. Archon. Tap down Griffin Patrol. Attack like this. Why did they take 4? Okay, sure. I get my soldier token and my other colored soldier token. Okay. How many blockers do they need to live next turn? They're effectively at 2, so any 2 creatures are lethal. 2 lands in hand, and that is what I thought might have been the hardest matchup of the tournament. All Who Wander is still live. I think that might be the Lee, All Who Wander, and I think have the 3 strongest decks. But Lee had some awkward draws there, and so we were able to clutch it out. Lee does not need to apologize for giving me an easy time. Lee is in fact still live for the regular GP, so I still might run into them there. Lee says my deck is insane, which I think is true. Um, yes, much like uh, Lee, uh, yeah, much like their namesake, Lee Chun-Su. Uh, should never count this opponent out. See you guys later, and good night.